Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be talking about whether or not you should buy or sell. And if you can hear me okay, if you don't mind, just type yes in the comments or okay or something like that, just so I can know everything's working all right. And like I said, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be going over 7 questions that you can ask yourself to help you decide whether you should sell and go buy another home, or you should just stay put, stay where you are. And before we get started, just want to let you know, if you're serious about buying or selling a home, give us a call. You might want us to help you to buy or sell. You may not. Either way, we're happy to give you some advice and point you in the right direction. And you can go to showcasecall.com to get scheduled to talk with us. Okay, so let's get started. We're talking about if you own a home and you're thinking about buying another home. That's a decision you got to make. We're going to talk about 7 questions you can ask yourself to help you get through that, and that'll alleviate some of the stress and indecision and worry that sometimes come with this process. We talk to a lot of sellers, we talk to a lot of buyers, and sometimes in the very beginning of the process, they're undecided on whether or not they should sell and move to another house. And so we'll go through these questions and really help you to kind of get laser focused on what you want. And this will also help you to find out if what you're looking for is even out there. Before we jump into it, just want to let you know, if you're just joining us, if you're serious about buying or selling a home, go to showcasecall.com to get scheduled to talk with us. You might want us to help you to buy or sell. You may not. Either way, we're happy to give you some advice and point you in the right direction. And you can just go to showcasecall.com to get scheduled to talk. Okay, so what we're going through is our 7 questions to ask if you're undecided on whether or not you should sell or just stay where you are. This is part of a book we wrote a few years back. And if you'd like a copy of that, you can just, in the comments, just type in book, and we'll get with you and send you a copy of the book, and also a checklist. There's no cost or anything on that. You can just type book into the comments and give us some time to get to you. The first thing you want to ask yourself is, what do you plan to gain by selling? And so, what we mean by that is, write down exactly what it is that you want to accomplish. This helps you to begin to get focused on what it is that you want. Are you looking for a bigger home? Are you looking for a smaller home? Are you in a situation where you're actually not going to go buy another home? You actually just need to sell the home, and you've got something that you're going to do with the proceeds. For example, if sometimes we're dealing with a divorce situation, and neither spouse is going to keep the house. And so they got to sell the house and split the proceeds to pay off one of the spouses. That's one type of situation. We deal with a lot of buyers and sellers that have a growing family. And so they're selling their smaller house to get a bigger house. We work with buyers and sellers sometimes that are downsizing. They've gotten into retirement years and they want to lower the cost of their monthly overhead, so they want a smaller place. Or maybe they just want a smaller place with less maintenance so that they've got more time to travel and do whatever it is that they want to do. But it's really important that you get clear on what it is that you plan to gain by selling. And if there's other people involved in this decision-making process, you need to get them included early on so that you're all on the same page. Sometimes we'll take families out and show them homes, and it's easy to see that there's disagreement on what they want in the next house. So get together and get on the same page if you've got other people that are involved in this decision, and figure out what it is that you plan to gain by selling. And then the second thing you want to ask yourself is, how do you imagine your next home? So, are you looking for a 5-bedroom home? Are you looking for a 3-bedroom home? Are you looking for a 3-bedroom with a study you can use as an office? Do you need a big backyard, a small backyard? Do you want a fixer-upper? if you want a fixer-upper, what does that look like to you? Does that just mean like paint and carpet? Or does that mean you're tearing down walls, you're putting in cabinets and countertops, that kind of stuff? So how do you imagine your next home? What area do you want to be in? What kind of schools do you want, if that's important to you? So these are the things you want to determine, because you got to see if the house that you want, if it's even out there. If your budget, let's say your budget is $750 and you're not willing to go over that $750, and you make your list of everything that you've got to have in your next house for you to be happy with getting rid of your current house, and you find out that to get all of those things that you want, it's going to cost you $900,000 instead of $750, or maybe it costs you $850 instead of $750. Either way, you're way over budget. If you're not willing to budge on that budget, then there's nothing you can really do about that. Maybe you can go further out. Sometimes if you get into a different neighborhood, the price points are less, but maybe you don't want to drive that far. But you've got to, kind of go through this process to determine if it's even worth your while to sell your current home to get into the next home. The third thing you want to ask yourself is, when do you want to put your home up for sale? When do you need to put your home up for sale? You want to find out how long houses typically sit on the market. You want to find, you want to usually add 30 to 45 days to that so that you can get through escrow. And that gives you a good idea of how long it's going to take to sell the house. And that helps you to determine too, when are you going to sell? When do you need to put it up for sale? And now you know what you plan to gain by selling. That's your first question. Now you know what you're looking for in the next house and whether or not it's available. And now the third question is helping you to define your target or your timing. So it's helping you to get together on your timing. So we got a few more to cover. Do want to tell you real quick, if you're just joining us, if you're serious about buying or selling, give us a call. You might want us to help you to buy or sell. You may not. Either way, we're happy to give you some advice and point you in the right direction. And to get scheduled with us for no cost, no obligation or pressure, you just go to showcasecall.com. And if somebody's can just type that into the comments right now, that'd be cool. That way, if somebody's listening, they got a direct link there. Okay, so let's get back to it. The fourth thing you want to ask yourself is, are you going to pay cash or get financing? If you're not in a position to pay cash for the house, then you can skip over this question. But if you do have a bunch of cash laying around and you're planning to pay for your next house all in cash, then some things that you want to consider would be, what else could you do with that money? So like right now, a lot of mortgage rates are hovering around 4%, 3.875 to 4 3/8, somewhere around that ballpark. So if you let's say that the house is going to be $1 million and you're going to pay cash for that house. What could you do with that $1 million if you didn't use it to pay for the house? Could you invest it in something that's going to bring you a better return than the 4.5, 4 3/8% interest that you're going to pay on it if you were to borrow the money? So that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it, just remember you also have your mortgage interest deduction up to a certain amount. So that's still available. So if you're paying cash, you're going to lose that mortgage interest deduction. Okay, so that's your fourth question. Are you going to pay cash, or are you just going to get a mortgage for the house? The fifth question that you want to ask yourself is, how much will I net from the sale of the home? If you're selling the house, let's say you're selling your house, you think you're going to get $800,000 for it. You're not going to have $800,000 left over that goes to you. So you want to get what we call a net sheet. That's something that's very helpful. It's going to show you all the costs that are associated with selling the house, and it's going to show all the payoffs that are that go along with selling your house. And then the bottom line number is your what we call your net. That's the number that you actually get at the end of closing. And so things that are going to come out of the net are going to be, if you've got a mortgage on the property, you got to get that mortgage paid off. And if you've got any liens on the property from things like unpaid property taxes, those are going to have to get paid off. If you've done some home improvements sometimes, and you finance those home improvements, sometimes those a lien on the property too. So we got to get all, we got to figure that out. You want to know how much money you're really going to put in your pocket if you get a certain price for your home. A lot of times sellers are surprised at the final number because they didn't find out in advance, and unfortunately they're surprised in a bad way. It's not a pleasant surprise. So you don't want that to happen to you. You want to find out very early on in this process how much you're going to net. That may help you to decide whether or not it's worth selling. If it's not a very big number and it doesn't give you the money you want to get into the next home, maybe you should just stay where you are. Kind of like what we were saying earlier. If what you're looking for isn't out there in the price point that you want, maybe you should just stay where you are. So the sixth question you want to ask yourself is there going to be a capital gains tax when you sell? So if you've been in your house for 2 years or longer, the short answer is probably no. I'm not a tax professional, so of course I got to tell you to check with your tax professional about this. But capital gains can take a big chunk out of your profits. If you live in your current home, instead of it being like an investment property and you've been there for 2 years, you're probably not going to pay capital gains tax. But again, I'm not a tax pro. So you should find out, for your exact situation. And then the last question you could ask that's going to be really helpful for you is just, are you going to do this yourself? Are you going to sell it yourself? What's called a for sale by owner or a FSBO, F-S-B-O. Or are you going to hire a realtor to do it? And if you're going to hire a realtor, you're going to get a discount broker, you're going to get a flat fee broker, or you're going to get a full commission traditional broker. What are you going to do? And if you are going to get a realtor to do it, what are their costs? Looking into that, or if you're going to do it yourself, what's involved? Is that a project that you're really able to take on at this point in time? So those are the 7 questions, and I'm going to recap them here for you real quick. But if you are serious about buying or selling, give us a call. We'd love to talk with you. We'll give you some advice and point you in the right direction. Whether you want to sell with us or buy with us or not, it doesn't matter. We're just happy to help you out on this path. You can go to showcasecall.com to get scheduled with us. And just to recap, we're talking about deciding whether or not you should buy or should sell. Sometimes people want they're thinking that they want to go get another home and get rid of the one that they've got. But when they dig into it, sometimes they say, hey, we should just stay where we are. We love this house. It's a great house. We're not going to be able to go get something at a price that we are comfortable with or that we want to pay. Sometimes that happens. But sometimes once a person starts digging into this and they discuss it with the spouse or other decision makers in the family, what they find out is, yes, we should put the house up for sale. So the 7 questions, what do you plan to gain by selling? The second question, how do you imagine your next home? The third one, when do you want to put your home up for sale? The fourth one, will you pay cash or get financing for the new house? Number 5, how much will you net from the sale? Number 6, will there be a capital gains tax if you sell? And then 7, are you going to try this out on your own as a for sale by owner, or are you going to hire an agent? So those are the 7 questions. This is part of a home seller's kit that we wrote a few years ago. If you want a copy of that, you can just type kit or book into the comments and we'll reach out to you and get you a copy of that, no charge. And if you're serious about buying or selling, give us a call. We can help you with that. We can point you in the right direction. You may decide that you want us to actually represent you and list your home or represent you as your buyer's agent. You may not. Either way is fine. We're just glad to be able to help you in some kind of form or fashion. Okay? All right. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found it helpful. I enjoyed talking with you, and we'll see you next time. Take care.